Welcome back to Northern Maple, where we uncover the unfiltered truths of Canada's past, present, and future from coast to coast, breaking their silence. On today's episode, we're focusing on Pierre Poilievre, the career politician or the ungagged Maverick. That's what we're going to find out. However, before we start, I did want to say thank you for all your feedback on the first two episodes, especially about the mic tip going off and during the end of the second episode. Hopefully, I won't reproduce the same mistakes. I also hear your excitement for topics like the WF, UN, central banking, all of that stuff. I promise we'll get there. With the snap election, however, I've prioritized providing facts for first-time voters and those who only had time to skim headlines. Mark Carney's campaign promises economic improvements, but his self-described globalist and elitist stances raises many questions. Globalism, in my view, often leads to centralized control, wealth concentration, and a two-tier society. Think, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's the globalism slogan. In a later episode, I'll be doing a deep dive into the truth of globalism. A quick election update too. 7.3 million Canadians voted in advance polls this past weekend. That is a 25% increase from 2021, and it also represents 25% of our registered voters. With votes locked in, candidates might feel secure, potentially revealing more about their plans. My question, will Carney move beyond his ums and ahs and reveal a more truth about himself, or will he just raise the gas prices like he's doing today? Now, let's focus on our main topic. Who is Pierre Poilievre? Poilievre, leader of the Conservative Party, faces scrutiny as a career politician for refusing security clearances, perceived alignment with Donald Trump, a few of his comments on women, and his CBC defunding proposals. Let's examine these claims a little bit closer. Claim 1. Poilievre is a career politician. True, absolutely true. Poilievre showed an early spark for politics, joining the Reform Party at the young age of 14 and later studying international relations at the University of Calgary, earning his degree in 2008. At the age of 20, he worked for the Canadian Alliance leader, Stockwell Day, and by the age of 24, he won the Nepean-Carleton seat, defeating a Liberal cabinet minister to become one of the youngest MPs. Under Prime Minister Stephen Harper, Poilievre's star rose. From 2006 to 2013, he served in various parliamentary secretary roles, sharpening his debating skills. In 2013, he became Minister for Democratic Reform, introducing the controversial Fair Election Act enacted in 2014. The act amended the Canada Election Act to strengthen electoral integrity, reducing voter fraud, and modernizing the voting process. It did face some scrutiny, though, from the opposition, because it required voters to have ID to vote and ended vouching, a process allowing someone to swear an oath to confirm a voter's identity and address. The opposition claimed that this disproportionately affected marginalized groups. My thoughts? If you want to be treated like a citizen, act like a citizen, and go get a government-issued ID with your name and address on it. However, the Liberal government has since amended the act, and vouching is allowed again, so I guess you don't need any ID as a Canadian. In 2015, Poilievre briefly served as Minister of Employment and Social Development. Known for his combative style, Pierre was a loyal Harper ally, but when the Conservative Party lost power, he didn't slow down. In 2022, Poilievre seized the leadership of the Conservative Party, capitalizing on his populist appeal and criticism of the Trudeau policies. As leader of the official opposition, he's focused on housing, inflation, tougher immigration policies, and removing the red tape that is crippling our medical system and energy sector, resonating with Canadians frustrated by economic challenges. Critics dislike career politicians, but experience can be an asset. After a decade with a prime minister lacking deep government experience, is another newcomer preferable? It's funny how critics will praise Carney for experience as an economic economists, yet in the same breath they criticize Poilievre for having it. Claim 2, refusing security clearance. This one's partially true. Poilievre has recently declined a top-secret security clearance, citing concerns it could limit his ability to be an effective leader of the opposition. Critics argue this dodges accountability amid foreign interference allegations. However, Poilievre would have held secret-level clearance in past roles, proving his reliability and character. Bloc Québécois leader Yves-François Blanchet also initially refused clearance for similar reasons, but later accepted it for access to unredacted files. If elected Prime Minister, Poilievre would require top-secret clearance anyways, and if he doesn't get it, I don't see any other option for him than resigning as Prime Minister. As for the allegation of foreign interference, CSIS found zero ties between Poilievre's 2022 leadership campaign and foreign interference, despite Liberal leaks suggesting otherwise. Claim 3, alignment with Donald Trump. Absolutely false. Poilievre has rejected the MAGA label and condemned Trump's tariffs and 51st state threats as unjustified. He emphasizes a Canada First approach, focusing on housing and affordability, not U.S. politics. Let's watch the following 2 clips and see what Poilievre has to say.
And my message to incoming President Trump is that first and foremost, Canada will never be the 51st state of the U.S. We have a heroic history, a great people.
But after the lost Liberal decade, the question is whether Canadians can afford a 4th Liberal term. After these out-of-touch Liberals inflated housing costs, drove up the cost of food, pushed 2 million people to food banks, unleashed crime on our streets, ruined our immigration system, blocked our resources, sent $500 billion to the United States, and made our economy more reliant on the Americans than ever before? Or is it time to put Canada first for a change with a new Conservative government that will axe taxes, honor hard work, build homes, cut taxes, lock up criminals, secure our borders, unleash resources to bring home our jobs, and stand up to Donald Trump from a position of strength?
Some Conservatives may have supported the MAGA sentiment, believing a strong U.S. would benefit Canada. However, no evidence links Poilievre or his party to endorsing U.S. annexation. Poilievre has never endorsed Trump and emphasizes distinct Canadian priorities, like housing affordability. As for similarities between MAGA and Canada First, let's be clear. Every single Canadian politician should be saying Canada First. And if you have a problem with that, well, maybe you should be going elbows up on yourselves. Just saying. Claim 4, defunding the CBC, 100% true. Poilievre argues, as a 60% of the country, that the CBC, with its $1.4 billion annual budget funded by the Liberal government, crowds out private media and pushes a biased left-leaning narrative. Defunding the CBC could save taxpayers money, redirecting funds to priorities like housing and healthcare, while allowing a competitive media landscape to grow where diverse voices thrive. By challenging the CBC's monopoly, Canadians will be free to choose their news, aligned with Poilievre's free market vision. Besides, should a government really be funding the media? What's your take on it? And now for claim 5. Poilievre doesn't support women. Absolutely false. Critics claim Poilievre struggles with female voters, citing a 2025 comment on couples' biological clocks in relation to housing affordability. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh called it creepy. But context matters. Canada's fertility rate is declining. It's approaching 1. What is one of the main contributors of this? Unaffordable housing. Poilievre's comment highlighted this crisis. Couples can hardly afford a small apartment, let alone a house. So although his statement is unpleasant to hear for some, it is absolutely relevant to his campaign. He's also advocating for safer communities through tougher crime policies, which directly enhances women's safety. I just came across this reality check thanks to at What's Her Face. This past March, the Guelph police released safety tips after a woman was sexually assaulted. Here are some of the tips. Don't let others get too close. When possible, dress in clothing and shoes that allow you to move quickly. If you think you're being followed by a person, switch directions or cross the street. Seriously? Seriously, who thinks any of these will deter a man from sexually assaulting a woman? Do you know what works great at deterring bad behavior? Consequences. And while Carney is concerned about the charter rights of criminals, Poilievre is concerned about protecting the charter rights of victims. Who is Pierre Poilievre? Pierre Poilievre is a seasoned politician with decades of government experience, advocating for a strong and free Canada. His focus on housing affordability and deregulation resonates with many frustrated by economic challenges. While his combative style and decisions, like refusing the security clearance, spark debate, his record shows commitment to Canadians, to their priorities, and most importantly, to their freedom. That's all for today's episode. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I will see you next time in our next episode where we are going to compare the Liberal and the Conservative platforms. Take care and have a good evening, everyone. Bye.